and I definitely can't keep that in the episode. Definitely. Okay, it has to be out of the episode. I cannot put that in. Is that? I want clear confirmation. What you just told me cannot be in the episode.
Cannot be.
Okay, it won't be in the episode.
Yes, because I can't be publicly admitting. That's where
if you didn't say the word again, I could have cut. I'm still gonna cut. I'll bleep the word that you just said. All right, that's fine. But that's where it is. That's where we're gonna fucking kick off.
So, and on that point, so I was listening to the podcast with Israel Adesanya, and I noticed that on Flagrant so I don't know what happened, but in the podcast, someone said some shit that was like cancelable shit. Okay. So to censor it, rather than bleep it, they just straight cut the audio. So
I found that though kind of not ruins momentum, but if you're expecting a word to be in place, it kind of your brain does oh fuck, that was a skip.
It was I don't know what it was. It was the whole context of that situation. They decided to just cut the audio, and then later on they actually bleep stuff. So whatever was said in that moment was so bad, they were like, nope, we got to just cut the whole audio. We're going to cut it for like 3 seconds and then put it back in.
See, I'm pretty sure you could hide edits like that if there were multiple cameras with different shots. Because what you do is maybe at the start of that conversation topic, you cut that bit out as well. And then if there's like a swish and then a sponsored section, you can very easily bury it. But we don't do that. We're not very professional.
Or do you just pretend to do it?
We just pretend.
We're going to commercial.
Yeah, cut to commercial. Yeah. Such a good bit. Because one day there will be commercials.
Yeah.
And there will be actual money involved. But for now, it's just conversations with people I like talking to.
Yeah.
So, it's good shit.
So, yeah. And then the other one I was going to tell you was... Right, the reason I finished early today. So, I started work at 7:30.
Yep.
Usual shit. There was some rain last night, which was why we finished slightly early, because we knew it'd just be shit to work in the rain. And then this morning we started early at 7:30, and there was forecasted like light rain in the morning, right? And it was like the weather was saying like less than 1 millimeter of rain, but it was like less than 1 millimeter for like 4 or 5 hours straight in the morning. So we're like, okay, that shouldn't be too bad. We'll get into it, and if it starts to rain, we'll just wait and then go back to it. Next minute, like we've started work, we've been working for like an hour and a half. The next minute, like we're working, and it just starts pissing down rain. Like not like light rain, like
biblical rain,
like actually pissing down. And like I don't think I've told the podcast yet.
Go for it. This is the floor's yours. So every time you come on the podcast, it's going to be more about you than it is about me.
Yeah. So anyway, I work in asphalt and road construction. So the thing is, like, asphalt's hot. It's like 165 degrees when we lay it. And
to confirm, Celsius,
yeah.
Yeah.
It started like raining, and it was normally you can get away with some light rain because we normally use water when we work on the asphalt, like with the rollers and stuff, to helps cool the surface as you're working it, so it stays in place. So some light rain's not bad. You just have to know how to work in it, and you just work a bit quicker and do things a bit quicker. But yeah, the thing is, there's so much rain that there's just giant clouds of steam just freaking evaporating from the...
Oh, because the rain, obviously the cold rain's going to hit the hot surface.
Yeah, and it's immediately turning to steam, yeah. And I'm talking giant clouds are just forming off the surface, which is not normal. Like when we work on it with the amount of water we use, it's like some light steam that comes off of the surface, which is like, you're like, oh, cool. I'm talking clouds were coming off today. Like it was pretty bad.
Like an outdoor sauna.
Yeah. And then it was like maybe half an hour was just pouring. And at this point it was like we'd already laid the asphalt. So we were just working it, like just trying to get compaction into it. So it wasn't bad. And it just meant that we had to work it a bit quicker and just get off it as soon as possible. But then, yeah, once it started raining, we were like, nah, that's it. We can't do any more work for today.
You have to call it quits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily that meant I finished at 12:30 today.
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah.
I always love it when God intervenes and says you get to go home early.
Yeah.
So I've worked previously in a warehouse before where temperature during the day has gone up to about maybe 40 or 42 degrees. But because we work at heights within the warehouse, heat rises. So the higher up you are, the hotter you are. At midday, it was climbing, and I think at about maybe 38 degrees. It was still scheduled to get to 42.
Yeah.
And the boss goes, "Nah, just it's not worth it.
Yeah.
We've done everything we need to do for the day. Just we're not going to push it. Go home, enjoy the rest of the day."
Yeah.
So, it's good when management actually understands issues like that, because when they don't, it's just...
Yeah.
It's just... Because, look, you forget... they're people too, but I think they forget that they're people as well. They think of themselves as managers. What I'm saying is, managers are subhuman. Basically.
Yeah, all right.
And even if I was a manager, I mean, I guess that'd make me subhuman too. But, same standard for everyone.
Yeah.
Not biased.
Yeah. So, but that was the other story I was going to tell you. And then, yeah, we can get into it.
Good. All right.
So,
Well, we watched the John Mulaney special, Baby J.
yeah, that's right.
Now, we did actually... I was looking through the notes. We talked about it maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah. Then
But that was only when just I had seen it.
Yeah.
But now that we've both seen it, before we got into it, I made a bold call. I said that it was probably one of my favorite specials, at the very least top 5.
Yeah.
And you called me out on that call, and you're like, "That's high praise." And I go, "You'll see."
Yeah.
We watched it. What did you think?
I thought it was actually a fantastic special. It would go into my top 5 for sure. I don't know where I'd rank it just yet, just because I got to compare it to the others. But yeah, it was very high quality, very funny, very well done. I liked how it was like it had acts in it for each like set or each joke that was like he'd done the whole bit, and he'd broken it up into almost 5 parts.
And you can see as well like the structure when you watch it. So I don't know if regular audience members pick up on how it's all broken down in that, but I could even see from the special, because as you know, and maybe some other people don't know, specials are normally filmed more than once.
Yeah.
This one they use most common 2, and more often than not, the second taping they use the vast majority of the footage from that. About maybe 80%. Tom Segura was actually talking about. They released a documentary on YMH Studios about the making of Sledgehammer.
Yep.
I watched that. He explains the whole thing very well. Essentially, because I knew what to look for, I could see the pattern of when a cable is tied up, it's like got kinks and shit. I could see at what point what footage was being used based on the continuity of the cable. I guarantee no one else was watching that. They would have just been like listening. Did you even notice there was a glass of water at the very front of the stage? And
I did notice that glass, and it wasn't water. It was actually whiskey or something in it.
The dude's talking about being sober. I doubt it's whiskey.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. I've got no clue, but if I had to guess, water.
Or was he just sober from drugs?
I don't know, because that's the thing with sobriety. You can say... If you say sober, that's no substances. That's no drugs, no alcohol. I think alcohol's
it is a drug, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a serious drug, but I think it should be. What is it? Maybe class 2. I don't know the actual classes. I probably should have done some research.
The way they do classes for drugs isn't... Because weed is classed as a Schedule 1 drug in America, which is in par with heroin. And the reasoning behind it is that like one of the key markers is there's no medical use for it.
No medical use for marijuana.
Yeah. That was a reasoning to justify as a Schedule 1 drug, because there was no medical application or medically beneficial use for it.
Do you know as of when that was decided?
Oh, I'm talking like this was back before like weed got legalized and stuff. Like originally, that was how it got classed.
So what are we talking? 1800s?
I'm talking like 20 years ago. Like
20. Okay, yeah.
Like and prior to that, but I don't know if they got rescheduled now with all this stuff.
Surely.
I don't know, because it's still illegal at the federal level.
Okay.
Only at the state level it's legalized. So.
See, I'm not super familiar with the laws for marijuana in the US.
That's the thing, yeah. So they've legalized it at the state level, but federally it's still considered a dangerous substance or whatever. Okay. So that's why all these dispensaries and stuff have issues with things like banking and stuff, because it's technically an illegal commodity. So how do you like pay tax on it? Like, You know what I mean?
Simple. Don't.
But things like that's why they work a lot with cash and stuff, and the dispensaries get robbed, and there's like higher security and stuff for them because they have to work in cash rather than using financial institutions because they can't. You know what I mean? It's technically.
I know exactly what you mean. Have you seen Tulsa King?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I think you'd like it. It's Sylvester Stallone as a 70-year-old mobster.
Yeah.
He basically he gets out of prison after 25 years, and his crime family go, hey, as your reward for being loyal, never snitching, here, have Tulsa. And he's like, what do you mean, have Tulsa? And they go like, well, have Tulsa. And he sees it as like a punishment, but then he goes, no, I'm going to make Tulsa my bitch. The first thing he does, he gets his Uber driver or taxi driver or whatever, not recruit him, but it's like, hey, we're doing business together now. Take me to the best hotel. He goes to the hotel, and he's like, all right, we're going to start figuring out ways to make money. The first place they hit is a fucking dispensary. Because he goes, okay, it's in the middle of nowhere. He sees there's a lack of security, and they go, all right, they're going to keep cash on the place. Let's knock the place up.
Yeah.
And the way they handle it in the show, fucking great. It's like, it's almost reminiscent of what it was like watching Breaking Bad for the first time. So I think you would really enjoy it. And I have a not illegal pirated copy. Allegedly, because I won't subscribe to, I don't think it's on Prime. Paramount Plus. It's on one of the bullshit streaming services.
Yeah, righto. Yeah.
But I think you'd like it. And I know your watching habits are, if you like a show, you'll sit and you'll watch 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
Right? It's an 8-episode TV show. You'll get through it and you'll like it.
Recently, I binged the 8 episodes of The Witcher in the last 2 weeks.
See, I couldn't get into the second season.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed by the finale. It was like...
You can go full into it. It's all good.
But anyway, yeah, I am like that. When I'm watching shows, I will be either all in binging or I will loosely watch it here and there. There's no in between.
Well, see, that's the good thing about comedy specials, though. It's because it's a year or more of work put into a concise hour or hour and a half, and it's everything there.
Yeah.
And you get to experience all that work, and then the best part is once it's all out there, you get to start again. And then you get to just keep building and building and building. That's how people like Jim Jeffries have 10 comedy specials. Yeah. And Mulaney's on, what was Baby J? Baby J was his 5th, I think.
I know this. He's got 3 on Netflix plus the Sackle Bunch.
Yeah. And there's another show that he did, like a musical type thing. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I hate musicals with a passion. But I've seen a few. So it's qualified. Like Legally Blonde, it's okay. That's all right. That's a pretty good one. I still don't like musicals as not as a concept.
You would hate Bollywood.
Well, you see, here's the thing about Bollywood. The special effects and stunt team, where they go, hey, let's do this cool, ridiculous, wacky thing. Love that shit.
Yeah.
100%. It's just, if it means that you have to have a musical number every 10 minutes, I'm out.
Yeah. Maybe like almost a quarter of your film is going to be like a musical, basically.
Yeah.
So I know my mum loves Bollywood, but she literally will like fast forward through all the musical bits just so the movie will end quicker.
Well, what? Those movies go for 3+ hours. Aren't Bollywood movies known for being way too long as well?
Yeah, that's because of all the musicals.
Actually, I saw a super edited scene where it was, I don't know, I think it was like just a woman turning around, and they used 14 shots of it.
Yeah. And
it was just over and over, like different zooms, different flashes. It looks like it was made off like Windows Movie Maker or some shit. But it was great.
Yeah.
I almost aspire for that level of over editing just for the meme of it.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate a good joke like that. But you know, some of Mulaney's jokes, they fucking hit. They were great.
Yeah, they were good. It was a good special.
It was just fucking spot on.
Yeah.
Like, even keeping with the whole theme of the intervention, like not many specials go, oh, here's a theme, and then some people who are not on the comedy side, they're on like the production or the management or like the showbiz side, and they go, hey, what's the theme of this? And then comedians go, there's no theme. This is just what I think is funny. Like, that's just how I've written it. But Mulaney is so good that he could do just that, but also do, here's themed about intervention, my drug problem, everything else.
He really grounds everything back into it. Like, I loved how he kept bringing it back to it as he was going. Like, even with the random kid in the audience that he brought up at the beginning. Like,
Thanks for reminding me. I saved it for this bit. That was planned.
was it?
That was planned. So on his tour from scratch, it happened once, legit.
Yeah.
And the riff was good. And then he's like, wait, what if that was a good part? Like, that's a good part of the show. Like, contrasting it between, like, for the young audience member who's, like, way too young to be there.
Yeah.
Like, the first time it happened, it was completely legit. And then I believe that throughout every show, there was someone else that he knew was going to be there that he would call on, you know, test different lines, different ways for them to respond.
Yeah.
Essentially joke writing with an audience member that happened to be a kid, and it stayed consistent, and it worked so well throughout the tour that he put it in the special as well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
What else did I hear about it? The GQ interview at the end, he did another interview about the special with the same reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure it's with the same reporter. I'm gonna just treating everything that I think I know as fact. If it's wrong, fuck it, whatever.
After hearing that, I do want to look up the GQ interview and look at it myself as well.
Like the Coke version,
Yeah.
and the next one, because that was just so. When he was writing the bit for like how he was going to present the GQ Coke interview,
Yeah.
he did contact the reporter and workshop it with them. Like, how can this best be presented?
Yeah.
Like, he went and did everything properly.
Yeah.
And then it's just closed off. He covered everything from 2020 onwards, except his wife. Which, at the start, you're like, oh, I can't wait for him to talk about that. And then, nothing.
He's saving it for the next special.
I don't know. I think it's still a bit... he might never mention it.
He might, yeah.
Because in earlier specials, he's talking about, you know, his girlfriend. And then, my wife. And now, no wife.
But, yeah.
But Olivia Munn. So... You know?
I do know.
Dude, I hadn't even heard of her until I saw her on what was it? X-Men Apocalypse or some shit.
I knew her from before that.
What you
I saw her on the Newsroom.
The Newsroom?
Yeah, with Jeff Daniels, is it?
That name sounds familiar, but
from Dumb and Dumber.
I know who you're talking about, but I am picturing the character in Dumb and Dumber, and I know that's not what he looks like, but we're gonna roll with that.
Yeah.
No, but like the Dumb and Dumber character. Okay, Jim Carrey doesn't look like his character in Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, but Jeff Daniels. And then he was the lead on the show. Like, he was the main news reporter, and then Olivia Munn played an economist that worked at the news show, and then she did all the financial stuff. Like,
okay.
She was very good in that too. But yeah, that was
Was that more of a like a comedy project or a drama project, or like what is the Newsroom?
It's like it's a very, what do you call it? Hypothetical, fictional news.
What, like satire?
Not satire, but it's a fictional news company of who I can't remember. I don't know who the writer of the show is. Basically, he wrote what all the news show should be like, unbiased. You know, reporting on,
not saying you
current
should think
events
about this.
Yeah,
this is what happened.
Like holding the agenda and actually just presenting the facts and letting people decide for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, giving the public just the information on the current events and things like that. So it's quite fictional. It would never happen in real life, obviously, because of all the other shit that happens in the background. But a very entertaining show nonetheless, because it's set like a decade ago, and it they report on some major global current events that happened, and it's their take on how it should have been presented and things like that. So with all the drama and stuff that happens between the characters. So yeah, I'd recommend it. It's a good show. But yeah, it was quite...
Do I have to not pirate that one as well?
No, you have to pirate it as well. I don't know where to see it. But it's a good show. I watched it all on YouTube, basically.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's okay. No, watching it on YouTube is a lot more legitimate.
Well, yeah, I don't know where to find it. There's no streaming service showing it or anything. So, what else are you supposed to do?
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Nah. Have you seen, actually, there's the clip of the news reporters all saying the same thing at the same...
Yeah.
it all syncs up?
Yeah.
Dude, that was a revelation when that first came out.
Well, that's why I don't have issues just following the news in general. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
Like, even you can filter it out for yourself of what you are and aren't interested in from, I guess, what you follow on social media and that. But even New York Post on, not Twitter, X, that's garbage. That was a stupid decision.
Yeah.
That was just, I'm still going to call it Twitter. In my mind, it's just going to be Twitter. It's going to be retweeting, tweeting, all that shit. It's not going to be X, expression, and fucking whatever else it is.
Oh, it's not X, Y, and Z.
It's not X, Y, and Z. No. Although Elon Musk has inevitably forced everyone who shares a computer and doesn't use incognito mode to either erase their browser history or use incognito mode, because as soon as you put www.x, a whole list of websites potentially can come up before x.com.
Yeah.
So, genius, but he's also an idiot.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have... Look, I used to hold him in a much higher regard, but he's just fucking fallen from grace. Like, yeah. He used to... Because even when he appears on Rogan, it'd be like entertaining or funny and everything.
Yeah.
But now since then, it's like... I don't know what is he like... I don't know. Is he like purposely tanking himself? Like... Do you know much about Elon Musk? Or
No, I do, but I've never held... Like, yes, he's done some amazing stuff. Like, some of the achievements of his companies are great and all. But at the same time, he's never been like someone I could understand either. Like, he's just got a different mind, people. So I wouldn't say he's like one of my role models. Actually, no, he's not one of my role models.
No, neither.
But it's funny because one of our friends, mutual friends, who's a teacher, I remember it was 2 years ago maybe, she sent me a video, like, and it was just like a massive highlights reel of Elon Musk. And she's just like, what an incredible guy. Like, and I was just like, yeah, that's what everyone says. But then you don't, like, people only start to see like all the background stuff that also happens. Like, you know, it's a matter of, yes, you could have all these great wins, but you also have a bunch of losses behind that as well. Like,
yeah. I was looking forward to him beating Mark Zuckerberg in the Colosseum in their boxing match.
Yeah.
But like recently, all he did was call him a cuck, and then he goes, "All right, show me the size of your dick," and that was the last I'd heard of him. And it's just kitty shit. It's just
like there's so many like stories of people who like at Tesla or SpaceX and stuff talking about how poor the working conditions are and stuff like that, because they're just being worked to the bone and stuff.
But
and
is he directly to blame? Or...
No, but it's like he sets the company, what do you call it? Culture and stuff.
Or culture, yeah.
Yeah, and like the expectations and stuff. And like his argument's going to be like, oh, like you knew what you were signing up for. And it's like...
Not exactly. I mean, like they knew what they wanted to do, but they didn't know under what conditions they were going to be doing it under.
Yeah.
Especially if those conditions change.
Yeah, there's that. But also it's like he doesn't care either, because he's all talking about efficient. Like it's pretty clear, like from what he thinks of the like what the company culture is and what he values, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants, you know, like innovation, money, like
everything,
efficiency, all that shit. Yeah. So at no point am I hearing things like any sort of human values and stuff. So it's like if someone's not performing, he just replaces them. He thinks of everything in a very like objective manner, which, you know, it can take you so far as a business leader.
That's what it is. Let's be real.
But yeah, and then like at the same time, that's why I'm not surprised when I hear these things happening. Because yeah, to be at the very top, sometimes you gotta, you know,
you gotta be a little autistic.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's fair enough.
But it just depends how you want to achieve your goals too. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, before we went into that whole Elon Musk thing, I was going to try find a way to bring up a news article that I found. It was on Twitter, X, and at no point in reading the title of the headline did I know where it was going to go next, all right? Just bear with me for a sec. Okay. US, as in United States, influencer works as emotional support stripper in Ukraine. I don't know what she's doing, but this bitch is posing with rocket launchers as some form of moral support. And you know what? I support the moral support. Let's do it. Let's get more like American, Ukrainian strippers into Ukraine, into the war zones.
Anything for the gram.
Anything for the gram. Dude, there's more in the article. I didn't even click on it. I didn't have to. I knew all that I needed to know.
That's hilarious. But it's a growing trend of how disconnected influencers are from the world.
Oh, dude.
Like,
yeah.
Did you hear there was this one chick? Don't even know who she was. I'd never even heard of her.
On the screen. This is not going on the screen, but just absorb it for yourself, and you can call it back later.
All right.
She's into it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I derailed. You were saying something, and I just completely fucking derailed it.
Oh, no, I was just going to say how there was recently this influencer. I think she does like dance. Yeah, she does like dance videos basically, and she's got a massive following. But she tried doing
dance videos where they're dancing, but they're not.
Basically tried to do a flash mob inside of a Target store.
Oh,
without like asking permission to film in there. But she had like 20 people like doing this dance choreography.
I think that's enough for a flash mob. Like, what's the limit for a flash mob?
I don't know. But imagine 20 people in an aisle of a Target.
Yeah.
Right. And they're trying to film, and they're getting upset because people are walking through the shot and stuff in a Target.
Well, it's American Target, yeah?
Yeah.
So the aisles are probably going to be bigger. Everything in
Slightly
America is bigger. But still...
They've got rows of 5 people standing in this. Anyway.
And it's a shop.
And then, like, they got upset when one of the workers was like, hey, can you please leave? Like...
They're like, what? How dare you? It's my right as an American to be here.
Yeah. But you're literally, like, trying to film a production at that point.
Yeah.
Like, they've got, like, cameras and lighting and equipment and stuff, like, in there.
The full setup.
Yeah.
Well, they've got this shit in the middle of an aisle at times.
Yeah, but they've got it, like, a mobile. Yeah. To film this video. And then it's, like, she basically posted on, like, Twitter and, like, social media saying that the employee was racist and kicked them out. For whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Thinking that she would get a bunch of support, and it just fucking backflipped on it. Like,
I'm with the flash mob girl. Honestly, if I want to run a flash mob, I'm gonna go to a public place because that's where there's no use doing a flash mob in the privacy of your own home.
No, do it on the street.
Do it on the street. That's probably where the most space is.
In a private venue. In a park, public areas.
Public park, yes. But if the goal is to disrupt as many people as possible, I'd say...
Well, it wasn't it was like a flash mob. It wasn't a flash. They were filming a TikTok.
But it was in the style of a flash mob? Like,
I mean, I just mean there was 20 people filming the thing. Like, she had backup dancers, basically.
Backup dancers, yeah.
But it's like a lot of people in a store just kind of being a bit of a disruption kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely a disruption. Man, I wouldn't fucking stand for that. That shit wouldn't happen in Australia. Because no one is that delusional. That dumb and delusional to be that self-important in their own head to take up an aisle of a Target. It was probably like... I'd like to think it was a baby formula aisle or something. Like,
it was like the middle aisle.
Middle aisle.
When you were walking to the store. Like, there's like a scan to check the price thing in the background. Like...
It's just the worst location.
Yeah, just so strange.
It's like the social media influencer needs a social media planner, and then just get the person will just have to like just
and that
organize everything.
You would have probably heard about there was another bloke. I think he was a streamer, but he basically he's got like 1.5 million fans or something in America alone. He's like 3 million worldwide, but he goes meet at this park in New York or something.
Is that the PS5 giveaway?
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear about
it. And it just straight up turns into like a riot, basically.
Yes, people like just fighting and shit. There's no security, no safety, fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just Americans being themselves.
They actually charged him for inciting a riot or some shit, or like public disturbance. I don't know, something like that. But
it is a public disturbance.
They charged him with something. Yeah.
So was it a couple of hundred people showed up, or was it a
couple thousand people showed up?
Jeez, I don't think people even realize the difference between a couple hundred and a couple thousand. It's literally 10 times more.
Yeah. It's pretty bad because people got upset when they didn't get stuff.
If it's okay. Yes, it's a giveaway, but there's still a limited stock everywhere. Yeah. Even if it was handled properly, people aren't going to get stuff. it comes back to that self entitlement or importance,
Yeah.
and Aussies don't have it because they just put each other down.
Yeah.
Like it's if there's any such thing as a successful Australian, it's because they're successful overseas.
Yeah.
It's just that's how it works. That's like I guess Jim Jeffries, because he had to go to the UK to like really properly blow up, and that's where he got punched in a nightclub, and then that's what got him famous.
Yeah.
So yes, that wouldn't have happened in Australia, but that's because of the lack of comedy clubs and all that shit. That's a whole other can of worms. When you were saying about stupid Americans, that just reminded me of this joke I heard once. An American tourist, he walks into a fast food restaurant, and he goes, and he's he starts to order his food, and then the cashier picks up that he's American, and the guy goes, you're American? I can hear your accent. And I've already butchered the joke, so I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna even try.
If you're not gonna finish it, all right, I'll tell you a story. So I was talking to some mates, and we were talking about how some Americans are so ignorant overseas and stuff, right?
Yeah.
One of my mates was in Vatican City, right? And when you're going into Vatican City, you have to go through security, and they do the metal detectors and all this shit. Yeah, you got to go through. My mate was in the line, and in front of him, this American bloke gets pulled up by security because he goes through the metal detector and goes off like buzzing and shit. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, so do you have something metal in your pockets?" He pulls out a freaking switchblade that's like this big, right? Yeah. And they're like, "Sir, you cannot bring this into Vatican City." Sorry, Italian. Sir, you cannot bring this into Italian. And he's like, "What do you mean? It's just a knife." And they're like, "You can't bring a knife into Vatican City." Like,
why not?
And he just like was so confused why he couldn't bring a knife into the city. And everyone's like, "What are you talking about? Where did you even get that from?" Like,
it's home brewed.
Yeah,
he made it himself. I remember the joke.
Yeah.
So
go.
Yeah, the American walks into the fast food restaurant. He starts ordering. The cashier picks up on his accent, and he goes, "Oh, you aren't American by any chance?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, how did you know? Is it because of my accent?" And the guy goes, "No, it's because you're the fattest fuck I've ever seen in my life."
Christ. Oh my god. Oh.
No, dude. I've got a couple of more. Let's see if I can remember any more. Because you know what street jokes are.
Yeah.
Jokes that anyone can tell anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a rabbit and a skunk. In the forest, they're both blind.
Yeah,
and they're running around, and they just collide into each other full speed. And the rabbit and the skunk, they go, "Oh shit, sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm blind." And then the skunk goes, "Oh yeah, I'm blind too. Let's feel each other up and see what the other one is." So the skunk goes, "I'll go first." So feels around and goes, "Oh, you got long flappy ears, a bushy tail. You must be a rabbit." And the rabbit goes, yeah, that's great. That's great. My turn. I want to have a turn. So, okay. It feels up the skunk. Goes, "Oh, greasy hair, dirty smell. You must be a Paki." As in a Pakistani.
Yeah.
Now, I thought you'd laugh more at that one because it was a really dirty racist joke. And if you laughed, that would have made me not seem horrible. So thank you for that, you piece of shit.
I think it was just your delivery.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I was expecting a bit more, like to the joke.
No. Street jokes are trying to be like right. Simple.
I'll go on for you.
All right, go.
So, a French man, a British man, and an Australian man walking through the outback. Okay? I got this joke from one of our prime ministers who tells it fantastically at like a UN conference or something between the British and the French ambassador or whatever, whoever he's with. But basically, they are walking through the outback and they come across a creek and they start drinking from the water from the creek, right? But then they get captured by some Aboriginals who confront them and say, "Hey, you trespassed on our holy ground. You must pay. You are going to die. Before you die, you can get one request before we kill you. When we kill you, we're going to turn your skin into canoes." Right? So they go to the British man. They're like, "What would you like to do before you die?" And he's like, "Give me a gun because I will not be killed by you savages." Right?
Okay.
So they give him a gun and he kills himself. Right? So they ask the French guy, I don't know, what would you like to do? And he says the same. I will not be killed by you savages. I want a knife. And he like cuts his throat and dies. Yeah. Then they ask the Australian bloke, what would you like, sir, before you die? And he wants a fork. Yeah. So they give him a fork and he just starts stabbing himself all over his body and goes, well, there goes your fucking canoe, mate.
That is a good one. I do like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's spite even in death. Oh fuck, that's good. No, dude. Okay, so a company is having a board meeting, right? They've got some problems. So the CEO, he goes, right, we can't keep testing our products on animals, right? It's a massive ethical issue.
Yeah.
And one of the businessmen go, but sir, shampoo companies do it all the time. Then the CEO says, yeah, but we make dildos.
Okay. That was good.
That's all I prepared, really. That's all I've got. Like, I'm trying to memorize more and more street jokes because inevitably people ask me, oh, tell me a joke. And it's like, well, I'm not going to tell you one of mine. It's still works in progress and there's how it's presented, but street jokes, anyone can tell them. Yeah, they're great. Sometimes the more racist, the better. That's why I thought the Packy joke would hit a bit better. Never mind. But it's happened now, so that's all good. Dude, so initially we were going to watch Barbie before this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do something Barbie, Oppenheimer, Barbenheimer, like that related. That wasn't going to happen.
The truth is, Barnzey just likes Margot Robbie, so...
The truth is, who doesn't? Like,
this is correct.
Australian icon now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everyone knew that, though.
No, actually, yeah, that's a good point. People are just like surprised that Australia can produce that.
Yeah, you were saying about how Australians are successful overseas.
Always,
We've got some good actors.
Yeah, and they all started on Home and Away.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Margot Robbie was Neighbours, but okay.
Okay, all right. Same shit.
Hey, you spoke about Neighbours at length on this podcast. You should know better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dude, it's coming back and I don't know what to think. And then by the time it'll be just fucking whatever. But anyway, the Barbenheimer phenomenon is essentially, it's been dubbed as two polar opposites of the same, of media being released on the same day at the same time. So someone on Twitter, see, I even did it again, someone on X made a list of movies in the past that are like opposite genres, and I'm just going to read them out. If there's something comes of it, great. If not, we'll move on.
Okay. And these were released at the same time?
Same time, same day.
Yeah.
All that shit. Exact same circumstance as Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
So, March 31st, 1999, 10 Things I Hate About You. Do you know that one?
No. Wait, I do know 10 Things.
I've got movie posters as well.
Yeah.
All right. And The Matrix.
Jesus.
But because of the lack of internet, I don't think there would have been like that same culture.
Yeah, it was the blow up of the...
And not to mention the meme culture of it all. Too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was marketing genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of these movies took advantage of that. Something About Mary and Mask of Zorro, same time. The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider. Have you seen The Hot Chick?
No.
So, I can't remember if he becomes a woman mentally or if they see him as a woman on the outside. I'm not sure. It's one of the Rob Schneider movies. If you know who Rob Schneider is, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that style.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, what was the movie? The one where he goes to prison. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a movie where Rob Schneider goes to prison, and he has to learn martial arts because literally the only motive is because he doesn't want to get raped. And they say it over and over and over again, and it's like it just becomes uncomfortable, and then it becomes so uncomfortable it becomes funny again. And there's the clips circle around on Facebook. You know those accounts that just post movie clips all the time. The one where he's like just wrecking dudes in a prison, it just keeps coming up. And now that I've mentioned it, Facebook has heard me through the tablet and devices and everything, and now it's going to come up within the next 2 days. I'll let you know when it happens.
But it'd be more impressive if it comes up for me somehow.
Good point, actually. The Lizzie McGuire movie and X-Men 2.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia and The Dark Knight. Now, I
Jesus.
thought Mamma Mia came out way earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was like a 90s movie.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
27 Dresses and Cloverfield. You know, that, I think it's an alien invasion movie, or maybe the alien invasion part is the spoiler. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Did you watch iRobot with Will
I did,
Smith?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
There's
right.
a few movies like that which were ahead of their time in
Yeah.
terms of like all the AI and all this stuff. Like even Gattaca was a good one.
Dude, I was surprised about how much I liked Gattaca when we were forced to watch it at school.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Surprisingly good. I think that was like the first tipping point when I realized that movies that we're forced to watch at school could be good.
Yeah.
Because like I think I fell asleep during Gallipoli,
Yeah.
but I know it was a good movie. We're just kind of too young. Like I know it's Australian.
That's
history.
an un-Australian thing to say.
I know. All right, sorry, British. There's nothing more Australian than being ignorantly British.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, iRobot and A Cinderella Story, just one of those shitty live action fairy tales. High School Musical 3 and Saw 5, same day. Never knew. Dude, did you actually know the first Saw movie was a student film?
Was it?
Yeah. It was all like that. It was so incredibly low budget, pretty much all shot in the same room, and because of what they made out of what they made out of what they had, that's why it was so good and so popular, and that's why they made Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they just keep fucking making more and more and more. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I think there's more than 7 Saw movies.
There'd be more.
Now, quick shift, same concept of Barbenheimer, but for games now.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. Do you remember when that happened?
No.
So
But I never played Doom. Like Animal Crossing was a big hit, obviously. That came into my circle, but
Yeah.
Doom I only found out about years later, and I'm like, everyone kept talking about Doom. I'm like, what the fuck's Doom? Like
Doom was a fucking pioneer in first-person shooters.
Was
Like
it?
that was the first 3D first-person shooter.
Okay.
Or maybe Wolfenstein was, but it's the same company. It was id Software.
Yeah. Okay.
Doom's been around. So Doom, here's a funny thing about Doom. When it was coming out in the 90s and shit, people were complaining that, oh, it's satanic and all that shit, even though it's like killing demons. It's like the complete opposite. If anything,
Yeah.
it's a Catholic game.
Yeah.
But they'd still bitch and whine about it. It's like how people were superstitious about D&D. How it's
Yeah.
like all devil worship and all that shit. It's not.
Yeah.
But the composer, Mick Gordon, when he was writing the music, I think it was for Doom 4? Sorry, I can't burp directly into the microphone because that's disgusting, quite frankly, although it would be a little bit funny. If you put one of his songs that he made in a spectrograph from Doom 4, it literally forms a pentagram, and he just did it because he thought it was funny. Because of all this like, not controversy,
Yeah.
but all this like uproar about, oh, you know, it's satanic.
Yeah.
And he also used a chainsaw as an instrument. Fucking well done. And it fits. Like, if you play Doom, you'll know. I highly recommend you play Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But no, that's it for the, I guess, Barbenheimer phenomenon.
Yeah. We've got to pause for a sec, bro.
Oh yeah, no worries. Cuts a commercial.
But
Yeah.
yes, the polar opposites of the movies.
Yeah.
Interesting duality, I guess. Of yeah.
Yeah, because like you didn't even. Oh, we said it before. You haven't seen either Barbie or Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Neither. I've
So
just been.
It kind of makes it hard to talk about.
Yeah. I've been busy both with work, but also just I don't know why we had a lot of events come up back to back over the last few weeks.
There's no space.
So yeah, just struggling to find time to just go to the cinema to watch it, especially because Oppenheimer's like 3 hours long, so it's a bit of a commitment to go. Yeah,
But it is worth it. When I watched it without spoilers for the movie, you know about.
that's the thing. Like all these new movies get spoiled with all the memes and shit that come out now. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Like,
People go, they'll try and turn off social media to just specifically to avoid spoilers. Like, we've got friends.
it's
that do that.
impossible.
But yeah, it basically is.
Like, it's for niche stuff, you can get away with it. But like when it's like in like just it's an everyday talk. Like everyone's asking about it and stuff. Like even at work, like a guy I barely even know would be like, "Oh yeah, you watching the new Oppenheimer movie?" Like it's just in current news circle, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just impossible to not see the spoilers and stuff for it. Like it just had to. It would come
Well,
up.
but you see, okay. Oppenheimer specifically, biopic, thing that happened.
Yeah.
50 years, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. It's more about the presentation of how it's gonna happen that
Yeah.
can be spoiled.
But even Barbie, like,
Okay, with Barbie, yes, memes are gonna spoil that one. I only even found out it was like, okay, I should have pieced it together. Satire.
yeah,
But now I'm gonna be looking at it from a different angle, and I think that will make the movie better.
yeah,
But I still don't know. So, yet to be seen.
yeah.
I don't know how to segue into this, but I did have a audience request.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
So, Janice, Janice. I'm sure it's Janice.
I'll let you take it away.
Let me double check. I gotta confirm that it is in fact Janice. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna leave that part in where I'm like, let me make sure that it is this. Oh, fuck, I don't have YouTube Studio on my phone. Oh, phone, tablet. It's over there. For now, yeah. All right. If your name's Janice, yeah. If it's not, sorry, but you get what you ask for. Here's a fucking sock, but just one. All right. Indulge. Thanks for subscribing. I don't know how to fucking do this. Is this a foot fetish thing?
It is, yeah.
It is absolutely a foot fetish thing. Fuck. I don't know where to fucking take this.
Congrats.
To be completely honest.
You just sold out yourself.
I sold out. Yeah, dude.
You sold out.
This is free. If I was making money from this, the shoe wouldn't have come off that easily.
You sold out for a subscriber.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Now imagine what I'd do for $1 million. Think of the possibilities.
Let alone the money.
No, it's about the fans.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
But it's look, the way I see it, the more I interact with different people, even on the podcast, everyone I talk to individually in this chair, I've got my own thing with every single person that I talk to, and it's not all completely different, but it is different relationships, different conversations, different topics. So I do like to talk to different people about different things, pretty much anything. Like that's what I want the podcast to be. Like Rogan is a role model in that sense, where he'll talk to anyone about anything just to find out open views. The problem is that some views are very controversial. I'm not afraid of controversy because if there's enough people that care like that, because I'm such a small creator, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like interested in the person specifically, not even about the views. So like if I had if I had someone who was promoting a specific political agenda and I didn't know anything about it, I'd be asking questions to find out. Not necessarily to be converted.
Yeah.
But just to learn.
To get the information, get an unbiased view on the situation.
Literally like presenting the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I'm better than Channel 9 or 7 or 10.
Exactly. And that's why so many people go to Joe Rogan for information. Like, just because you're going to get what you get. Like,
yeah, and it really helps that he says, okay, I'm going to talk to a scientist, I'm going to talk to a politician, I'm going to talk to a doctor, I'm going to talk to a rock climber, I'm going to talk to an athlete, I'm going to talk to a human rights advocate, I'm going to talk to a comedian, I'm going to talk... Literally, anyone.
That's the one thing I don't get about why people try to censor people. Because let people decide for themselves. Like, people are not so stupid that they cannot figure out and make their own decisions, all right?
Some of them are.
Some of them are, but that's the kind of beauty of having a free society.
Otherwise, you end up with North Korea with 10 websites.
Yeah.
And they're all propaganda for our glorious leader, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
What can we do? It's just people. People don't really change. Like,
people don't want to hear anything that they disagree with. They want to hear everything that aligns with what they believe.
But you see, I am interested in other people's
I
viewpoints.
am the same. I am happy to listen to other people's thoughts, and even if I don't agree with them, like that's fine. I need to hear different sides of an opinion to get a better understanding of it. Like
Almost, especially if I don't agree with them.
exactly,
Like-
yeah, because those are the best conversations to have
Like, I picked up
where
this
it's
book.
respectful. Yeah,
Yeah. So this book, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard very good things about this guy named Ryan Holiday, Daily Stoic.
yeah,
This book called Ego is the Enemy.
yeah,
Now, I read that statement, and I know for a fact it's designed for people to pick up and go, I don't agree with this, and either pick it up to read it, or just trash it without knowing what's in it.
yeah,
I prefer to at least investigate and see what someone else thinks about a particular topic, and if that broadens my own view and knowledge, that, to me, is a very productive use of time. Like, literally just expanding a worldview, and it helps you grow as a person,
Yep.
helps you be better. Even if you if I disagree with everything in the book, then I've still read the book.
yeah. You made your own opinion about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I still took the time out to actually, like, take it all in.
Yeah, it's not like someone told you the book wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
I can just
Well, see,
believe
no.
that.
Here's the thing. I've been told the book is good. So either way, it should be good.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I'm more interested. Like, I wouldn't go as far as picking up a copy of Mein Kampf, for example.
yeah,
Probably because I can't speak or read German.
yeah,
Doesn't mean it won't be translated, but that's fair enough. That being said, I've heard that book is incredibly boring. He just apparently just drones on and on and on and on, but I'll never know.
yeah.
If anyone if anyone watching this has read Mein Kampf, give me an honest book review. I want to know, honestly. Do you read much?
I used to read more when I wasn't driving so much. So, because I used to, back in uni and stuff, I used to take public transport heaps.
Yep.
So on the train, I used to read a fair bit. It was easy, 45 minutes, no, an hour and a half a day, basically. I could read a book. So yeah, I was reading a fair bit then. But now that I'm driving everywhere, I'm on podcasts and stuff instead. Audiobooks are just, I don't like the pricing for it. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. And yeah, I prefer to read books and physically hold them and stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into it. I'm trying to find new time in my schedule to allocate to reading. Probably the most appropriate time I found is probably just before bed, like half an hour or something. So yeah, because I've got quite a few books I've started and haven't finished, and I really should finish them.
Well, see, that's the mark of a reader. Like, people who read a lot of books don't finish reading a lot of books.
Yeah.
Because if they're not gripped in, they've got other shit to read. So at least you're trying. Because I know
Yeah.
people that don't try, and sometimes I've been a victim of not trying, because I'll say, oh, yeah, I'm going to read this, and then I don't. But I'll tell myself, oh, yeah, I'm going to read it, and then it just doesn't happen.
Yep.
But, I still have the intention. It just, no execution.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But,
Exactly.
it's an excuse.
Yeah.
If I wanted to read, I'll read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually been reading Joey Diaz's autobiography.
Oh yeah.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know that that set on This Is Not Happening with
Yeah.
Sister Hyacinth and the nun
Yeah,
that he beats the
nun,
fuck out of?
yeah.
So that's 2.5 pages in the book, and the book is 240 pages. If you remember correctly, that set goes for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a crazy story to tell.
Yeah. So it is obviously chopped down a bit
Yeah.
for like the format and redoing, but
Yeah.
like the main punches are still there. But there's so much of his life. Dude, he started drinking at 3.
He's just had a wild life.
Yeah.
I've heard bits of his like story and stuff just from podcasts and things. But yeah, like because he went to prison for a bit too, didn't he?
Yeah, that's how we found out. His cellmate was no. I was thinking of the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Whereas I was going to say his cellmate was Tommy Chong, but no, as in like Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
But no, I was completely wrong there. That was I was trying to like tie in threads.
Yeah.
Because Joey Diaz didn't know that he had these stories. And then
Yeah.
when he starts telling the stories, that's when the people go, oh, you should do stand-up. And he
Yeah.
hadn't really considered it. And similarly, Jordan Belfort didn't... Like, he was telling Tommy Chong about his life. And the guy thought he was a bullshit artist.
Yeah.
During visitation, he asks his wife, he's like, hey, look up look up this guy, Jordan Belfort, and then the newspaper article comes up, oh, it's the Wolf of Wall Street. It doesn't actually say the Wolf of Wall Street in the headline.
Yeah.
That's just what he called himself. But it was about Wall Street and this guy and how he did all this shit. He comes back and goes, dude, like, I didn't believe you at first, but yeah, my wife looked you up and you're legit. You should write these down. And because of him, Jordan Belfort wrote down his whole life, all the shit that happened, into a book, released the book. Leonardo DiCaprio picked it up and said, I want to be you in this movie.
Yeah.
I will find you the right director. Martin Scorsese steps in and they make it fucking happen. And then the production of that movie, it took like 10 years to get off the ground. They had to change the ending of the movie because he turned his life around to do the seminars. Like, originally, the movie ended with him in jail and then that was it.
Yeah.
But by the time they got to actually filming that part, he was really successful in like giving these like business talks and speeches.
Yeah.
So they had to change the movie and like put that in at the end, specifically because by the time it came out, the actual real life narrative had changed.
Yeah.
And then it became not this like dour defeat of an ending. It was like, hey, he's like getting back into it. And now the way he presents his talks, like, it can't be a scam because he can't fuck up once because of how much he's done in his past. So look, take everything you hear or read with a grain of salt, but I see him doing these seminars and they can't not be legit because if they weren't, he'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Because of the history. So I'm almost more inclined to trust him, but I'm not paying $300 to listen to the guy talk. I'll listen to a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. But he does give like even today, he was going to come to I think he did come to Melbourne. I don't know.
I did see ads about that.
Yeah. And then people go, oh, no, it's a scam. It's the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He's going to take your money. It's like, well, I mean, yes, but he's going to try and provide some value with it because he has to. Yeah. But, no, I did actually start reading the book. And you can only picture Leonardo DiCaprio and Margot Robbie because it's...
Yeah.
That's how you see him in the movie. So, I don't know. I think that's a nice little tie-in.
Another one for you. I don't know. Have you watched The Big Short?
Big Short. No, that's the statistics movie, yeah?
Not statistics.
Oh, no, that's Moneyball. Sorry.
That's
I
Moneyball.
was thinking of something else, yeah.
I did watch that recently as well.
Yeah.
But no, The Big Short is on the global financial crisis. And it's like the similar kind of vibe to The Wolf of Wall Street. Not as direct, but it's the same like kind of energy and stuff.
I don't know. There's a lot of drug energy in Wolf of Wall Street.
Less of the drug energy, more on like the...
Okay, you do realize the Wolf of Wall Street story is like 40% drugs.
Yeah, that's
minimum.
True. But I also...
Maybe 60.
It's also about how people played the system and got away with making a shit ton of money. So yeah.
Well, it would have had to have been toned down for Hollywood. Like the actual story.
What?
Well, because you said it's a movie, yeah?
What, The Big Short?
Yeah. Because whenever a real life story gets translated to any form of medium, things will have to get shifted around, chopped up, and
they still no, yes and no. They did because it's like a movie that explains what actually happened to like a layman in the global financial crisis. So it's funny because they've got like cameo appearances from like Mila Kunis and stuff in it.
Okay.
To like simplify it, there's some great analogies they put in the film to explain all of the jargon they use in the financial world for how like the financial institutions basically got away with making money off the like everyday person. Like, so do
you reckon that you could walk away with a better understanding of the whole
system? Yeah. If you watch that, like for people who don't understand what happened in the global financial crisis, watch the movie. You will get a somewhat greater appreciation for it. It is still quite confusing if you like when you like. After you finish watching it, you may need to talk to someone about it to fully understand it. But in terms of it explaining, it's the best you're going to find anywhere out there other than looking at like a giant YouTube video, which is going to go straight over your head anyway, because it's so dull and dry to watch a YouTube video about the global financial crisis compared to seeing your favorite Hollywood actors explain it. Like,
yeah, it's all in the presentation.
Exactly.
Like even I knew next to nothing about the war in Iraq, and then you told me to go watch War Dogs.
Oh, Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, dude. I even afterwards, I listened to the podcast with the guy who the movie was based on, and he goes into a full deep dive breakdown of what the movie got right, got wrong, everything. Did I send that to you?
No.
Okay, it goes for about 3 hours. Very good listen. And I know you've got the time because you just said you listen to podcasts.
Yes.
So I will absolutely get that under your radar.
Send it to me. But the funny part was, after I watched War Dogs, I looked up what available government contracts there are in Australia. There's a whole list of them. Like, you could just...
Should we buy one?
You could put a bid in for it. But the thing is, they'll do, like...
Hang on. As a podcast, can we put a bid on a military contract?
That's the thing. Like, you can try. It's just... It's a vetting... It's a vetting process involved in it. Because it's like other work you would tender for as well.
Yeah.
It's just at a federal level.
Because I might actually...
You got to look at what it is. It's like... It could be something stupid. Like, they want, like, I don't know... 4,000 rolls of toilet paper to be delivered to the location. Like, it could be anything.
All you have to do is fulfill that demand and then...
Shit like that. Like, it just... Like, basically, it's like the government puts out an ad. They say, this is what we need, you know, and then with all the requirements. And it's like, someone will be like, yeah, I can do that for you. And that's all it is. Like, they're like, this is how much money we want to spend on it and things like that.
It's like a TaskRabbit, but for the military.
And the reason... Like, that's the thing. Like, when you watch War Dogs, like, that was the thing. Like, it's all of that work just gets eaten up by the big corporations. But for some reason, what was it? There was a clause in the in their regulations and laws or something for their market where something like, I think it was like 15 to 20% of the work that gets allocated on those contracts had to go to small businesses. And that's where these two guys came in. Because they didn't want it's supposed to be a competitive market. That's the whole purpose of having that structure in the first place. So you don't want all that work going to one defense company and then having a monopoly on it.
Yeah.
So they had regulations in place so that the smaller companies were able to get access to work.
And they're still, like, ongoing. It's like the regulations are still in effect. It's all, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a competitive thing as well. Like, in the movie, those guys, you would have said, one of their first contracts they picked up.
Yeah.
They underbid the work by like $2 million or some shit.
That was their big break, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my point, is like all the big companies were, because they're big, they're like, no one's going to take this job on. We're just going to request a high price for the work. So, and then these guys came along and just underbid it, but still got the job done. Yeah, they did a really weird backwards way about doing it, but
of course.
But that's the whole point of it. Yeah. Market efficiencies. And the US government saved money.
Yeah. So it's like, it's pretty much a win-win-win for everyone except the people getting shot.
Yep. And that is the global market for war.
Well, I'm glad we got to learn something on this episode of Barnzey Burns Down the World. Because if I was to enter in and bid for these contracts, I might actually get to burn down the world. I think that'd be a great business opportunity to, like, really take the name and just insert the action of that. So, look, who knows what's next? Maybe next episode we'll be sitting here in camos. Like, all right, we're here. We're very pro-war. We're going to Russia.
That's it. There'll be contracts from the EU to support Ukraine. I guarantee you.
Where can I find these?
Because it's not just weapons. It's the other logistics stuff. Food, medicine, all those resources has to be...
But from Australia? Australia's so far away from them.
Yeah, but as in, like, it wouldn't be affordable for us to do it. But for countries in Europe, part of the EU, for them it would be, like, profitable for them to support the country. Yeah.
If I got my geography right, if I say Romania is close, or is that in the middle? I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's around there.
Yeah, it's around there. Okay, yeah. So if with this podcast,
the thing is, Europe is so tightly knit. It's like
it's a lot of countries in a small amount of place.
Like, the way I describe it is Italy. Driving from the top of Italy to the bottom of Italy is like driving from one side of Victoria to the other side of Victoria in Australia.
You can do it in a couple hours.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah,
it's not really that big. Well, I mean,
like an hour drive here, you're like in another town. Yeah. An hour drive in Europe, you could be in another country.
You could do a day trip to a country. You go, I'm going to go to France for a holiday, like, I don't know, for the weekend, and then just come back and keep going with your day. Fuck, man. It's like, we don't experience that life here.
Yeah. You think if someone talk like that, you'd think they're from the eastern suburbs. Like,
That's a whole different life. It's like, yeah, shout out to the east.
you're in the Alps one day. I mean, the mountains, skiing and snowboarding one day. Next day, you're down near the beach. Like, yeah,
That's Australia for you.
that's Australia. Yeah.
And then, but even then, like, it's, what is it, 70% desert?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just all the population is around the outside.
Yeah,
Smarter.
Just a green outline.
Yeah. And then just sand.
Yeah.
And a big rock.
Yeah.
And that's the country we live in. Hooray.
Yeah. Anyway, are we wrapping this up?
I think we're wrapping this up.
Alright, last one. To warmongering.
Fuck yes, dude. I don't have any drink, but I'll pretend. I'll cut it there.
All right. Oh, you didn't do the podcast is over.
Oh, well, all right, fine then. Fuck it. Yeah, the podcast is over. Go home. You got better things to do.